Welcome to The Funnel. My name is John Shea, and I'm president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 234 of The Funnel, how sales management can avoid the echo chamber. Before we begin, I want to remind you to head on over to alignment-group.com/The Funnel and subscribe, and we will send you the show notes weekly. We also include in that email our blogs for the previous week. Keep in mind our blogs are generally companion pieces to podcasts we've done in the last month or so. Also, I wanted to let you know, we don't send out a lot of emails to you, so you're not going to get inundated with Alignment Group marketing emails, much to the chagrin of my inbound marketing friends. So we keep it pretty light here. In case you're worried about that, just head on over and subscribe. Okay, agenda for today. Why don't they speak up? Your comfort level, constructive criticism, DIY, and implement. So why don't they speak up? Okay, the first thing I want to do is sort of give you a heads up on an echo chamber. Most of you probably know what an echo chamber is, but I wanted to give you a definition. And I got this off the internet somewhere. An echo chamber is a metaphorical description of a situation in which information, ideas, or beliefs are amplified or reinforced by communication and repetition inside a defined system. Okay, so what that means is we sit and we talk to those who have the same ideas, belief systems that we have, and through our conversations with them, they reinforce our beliefs. So when we don't step outside that echo chamber, we never really get other ideas or thoughts. The best explanation I can give to that in practice is here in the U.S. is the current political landscape. So if you're in tune to the news media here in the U.S., you'll know that there are conservative news media outlets and liberal news media outlets. And on any given night, you can turn on a conservative outlet if you're a conservative and feel really good about the conversation because it's everything you believe and it's reinforced by the things that they say. And you point to the TV and say, yes. The same goes for the liberal news media. You turn on the TV and they're reinforcing everything you believe. It's like, yes, exactly right. If you want to step outside of that, go to Facebook. Whatever side of the fence your friends are on any subject matter, whether it's politics or religion, generally what they're sharing, those folks that like to overshare everything to get their point across, generally what they're sharing is coming from a group that believes or reinforces what they're already saying. And when you don't open yourself up to the opportunity to have deep discussion and solid disagreements where you can come to some kind of consensus, you're stuck in that echo chamber. And that's what I'm talking about. So why is this important in sales? Well, when folks don't talk or speak up, it's generally fear or culture. Something in your culture saying don't do that. Like I said before, I mentioned this. I had a company that worked for a company that used to put out. Sorry for that beep. That was my laptop beeping in the background. So we would put out this questionnaire. This questionnaire would come out and every year, and we'd get the results. And the idea behind the results was really to change some things. And to be fair, we did change some things based on the messaging. But when it got to some really deep stuff, that wasn't the case. So, we might put better food in the vending machines or have a ice cream Thursday in the summer. We bring in an ice cream truck. We did those types of things. Casual days or Hawaiian shirt days or support your sports team days. When it came to fluffy stuff like that, we would go through and things would get changed. But when it came to the real meat, management support, development, help, they weren't really interested in helping resolve those issues. They were more interested in figuring out who actually wrote that in their questionnaire. Trying to figure out who the dissenters are. Now, that's a cultural issue. That creates fear. So people aren't going to say something for fear of reprisals. They're not going to really tell you what they think until maybe after they leave. And in some cases, I know people who left that company that were still afraid to say what they thought because they didn't want the backlash. People who left the company weren't allowed to talk to people who still work there. You can't control that, but if somebody who still worked there was caught having a conversation, maybe they made friends with them and talking completely outside of the context of work, it still created a problem for the person still there. That's culture. That's fear. Some in companies interpret speaking up a challenge to the status quo or a challenge to the company. Maybe it's disrespectful. Or they feel like it's counterproductive. Of course, it depends on what they're speaking up about and how they're saying it. But in some cases, any kind of work like that, speaking up, is a potential problem. And those are very, very powerful, powerful forces within a company. This is basically without saying it, an underlying current of encouragement that says, be quiet. We don't want to empower you to speak. We want silence. We may say it publicly. Our people are family and they take care of us and we take care of them and we encourage them. But that may not be real. Then they begin to create little fiefdoms, little trust bonds, little cliques. Because people need to know who they can trust and who they can communicate with. And if they're taught not to speak up, these are the things that happen. In order to change that, you have to open the culture. Embrace diverse opinions because they're welcome. Build a trust bond that allows people to open their mouths and say what they think or feel without reprisals. Your comfort level. I start with look in the mirror because this isn't natural for most of us, right? So think about how you react to things like that as a manager. How do you take folks that come up to you and question what you're doing and how you're doing it? Now, oftentimes, we think we're better than we are, but we're not. Notice how that reaction affects those folks. So I have this habit of when I'm in the middle of something, I'm working really hard and I'm focusing because I have attention deficit, so it's a little hard for me. When someone interrupts me, I look at them like I was just shot or I'm going to shoot them. And it sets them back. And I always have to say, because I've tried to stop it, but it's really hard. I'm not mad at you, not upset. Come on in. I was just really focused on this and you startled me. My office is downstairs and I work out of my home, which is awesome. I have this nice size office in the basement. I have a door to the outside. I have windows, beautiful. But I can't see people coming. And outside of my office, the lights are off. We've got different rooms in here and the lights are off. My middle one now comes down the stairs and turns the lights and blinks them as she's walking down the hall so I can see that someone's coming because of my reaction. So I know how I react to that. So how do you react when people bring ideas to you? So your job is to help them to get past that hypersensitive reaction you might have, or your job is to get past the hypersensitive reaction and let them know, I really want feedback. Okay? I do tell people who work for me, I need that. I need you to tell me what's working and what's not. Because if I don't know, I can't help you. When I'm working with kids on different things, different volunteer things or coaching or whatever, I want them to give me feedback on how it's working for them. It's not a one-way street. I want to know, is this working? Because if it's not, we'll change it. We'll figure something out. I want to have an open response to that. If you're uncomfortable with their feedback and their openness in that conversation, my guess is they're uncomfortable too because they know. It's okay to acknowledge. Listen, I used to say this to people when they walk in my office and I give them that look. It's like, it's okay. Well, you gave me that look. I did. It's because of me. I'm very focused. I'm sorry. I've tried to change it. I can't. It's a startled reaction. Don't for a second think you're bothering me. I'll tell you if I'm in the middle of something I can't talk, I'll tell you. You didn't do anything wrong. People also use that as a weapon against you, so keep that in mind too. How do they do that? Well, if they know you're going to overreact to something, they'll start feeding you things. And those are the people you got to worry about because they're not helping you or helping the company. But if you calmly listen to what's being said, open yourself up, you'll be amazed at what happens. Constructive criticism. You need to ask for it. People try to tell you what they want you to hear. Wake up, folks. You're in management. Most people do not want to rock the boat. They're going to tell you what they think you want to hear. That's the echo chamber at its best. They're going to agree with your ideas. They're going to shake their head. There are people in my life that do that. And I have to say to them, I'd rather have your opinion and we can have a civil discussion about it than you just agreeing with me because you think you're going to hurt my feelings or make me mad or whatever it is. And it's not their job to open up. It's your job to get them to open up. Beware of how you respond. Give positive feedback to those who dissent. Acknowledge that they've done it. Craft your conversations and questions in a way that pull that constructive criticism and that real information out of somebody. Be aware of your own emotional triggers and hot buttons and how that could affect things, and start working on that. So it's not enough just to invite the constructive criticism. It's to manage it to a point where you're eliciting and you're pulling that out of folks. Now, I've met some people in my life. There was a guy that worked for me that was amazing, passive aggressive, never once said anything, tried to agree with everything. Well, do you see how this would go, how this should be like this? If you say so, John. No, I'm asking your opinion. Well, if you say it should be that way, it should be that way. That's not what I'm asking you. And we would go round and round for 10 minutes. He'd never give me an answer. He stuck to it. Now, there's something wrong there. My guess is, and I know him well and he's a friend, since I've left the company years ago, we've maintained our friendship. But the interesting thing about this person is that I think it's historical. All of the managers previous to him, the terrible business practices that were deployed, and in some ways in the current position he's in are happening today, have created this wall of security around him that's unbreakable. But most people, if you really work on it and you ask the right questions and you're aware of your own feelings and responses, emotional triggers and responses, you'll get positive feedback from this. You'll get the outcome you're looking for. So DIY, do it yourself. So what do I mean by that? You do it. You speak up the food chain. Or when you see something's wrong. I'm not telling you to get involved in everybody's life. Go into the local store, retail outlet, and start telling people how they're living their lives wrong if they say or do something that you don't agree with. But if there's somebody doing something really bad, speak up. Speak up with your bosses, to people that are higher up the food chain to you. And think about how you are maybe not expressing yourself fully or pulling back away from that. And why are you doing that? What is it that's causing that to happen? That awareness within yourself will help you moving forward. In the cases where you're free to speak and you can say what's on your mind, why? What is it that allows you to do that and make you feel comfortable enough to do that? And I say do it up the food chain with your boss, do it with your friends, your spouse, your significant other, whatever. People that you have relationships with. Your religious leader, if you attend church, whatever it is. Speak up. Understand the moment. Am I holding back? Why am I holding back? What kind of reaction am I getting and how is that making me feel? So I need to work on that myself. Practice what you preach. You do that, and it's going to help you get better at opening up. So what do I mean by all of this? Well, and why are we talking about it? Because you never really know what people are thinking. And if you go back to the last podcast, good people have choices. That's what I'm talking about. If you live in this echo chamber, and everybody's agreeing with you, and everybody says you're right, the emperor has no clothes, you got a problem on your hand. Good leaders surround themselves with people who are going to tell them the truth. Bad leaders can't handle the truth. So they surround themselves with people who are going to tell them what's great about them. I've known managers who hire VPs, who hire supervisors or sales managers or field managers that are weaker in many aspects than them because they don't want the truth. They just want yes men, yes women. They want people to do what they want them to do, and they want to hear how great they are. They want their ego fed. Great. It's terrible. If they don't feel open enough to talk to you, you're never going to really know what's on your mind. You're going to live inside that echo chamber. This is a huge risk to you as a leader and to the company. You practice what I put in place here, and you'll see a significant improvement in all phases of your workload, your work level. As a manager, driving numbers, as a leader. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself as a sales manager. Get outside that echo chamber. Thanks again for subscribing to The Funnel. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/alignment group. At Shay John R is my Twitter handle. LinkedIn, of course. Connect with me. jshay@alignment-group.com if you want to email me. Of course, you can go to the website. Again, thank you for subscribing, and until next time, keep filling the funnel.